right, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Here we are, 401 Sports World Network on a beautiful Monday, April the 13th, 2026. We're going to get to our NBA playoff preview. I am Mr. 411, and with me today is the one and only Mr. E. What's going on, E?
Hey, Mr. 411, this is a beautiful day out there. It's hot and heavy. Getting ready to start this big time basketball postseason, huh?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
all right,
We
all
gonna
right.
get we definitely gonna get to it. I know you've been at a lot of the Atlanta Hawks games this year, so we'll definitely talk about the matchup with the Knicks and the Hawks.
Oh boy.
That's a heavily talked series already. It's probably gonna be one of those where there's a possible what we would call an upset when a lower seed defeats a higher seed. Possibly. I know I
Yes.
have a cousin that's a Knicks fan, well, a huge Knicks supporter, and I know she doesn't want to see the Hawks beat the Knicks, but I know there's some people around in our area that would love to see the Hawks defeat the Knicks. But we'll talk about that matchup later on today. We have the Western Conference that we're gonna go over as well. And again, going back to the East, we'll make sure we talk about that. There's especially some teams near the top of the East, that we definitely need to make sure we pit stop at and have a good conversation about. We can also talk about some things about the across the league. There's MVP races. There's how you qualify for those things. We could talk about those and get your. I would definitely want to get your take on that, and I give mine as well. But before we do all of that, Mr. E, we want to make sure everybody does exactly what you have already done before. But that's like subscribe to the page on YouTube. Go to 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. On TikTok and Instagram, you go to Mr. 411, Mr. 411. That's Mr. 411 on TikTok and Instagram. We appreciate you all doing those things if you haven't already. And if you already have, we definitely appreciate you and thank you once again for doing so. Make sure you share too. Share everything because sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, sharing is loving.
Yeah, absolutely. And E, you sharing your time today with us, so we definitely appreciate that. And you're gonna share your knowledge and your wisdom and give some great insight today on the league and also some predictions. So why don't we just go ahead and start off Eastern Conference, if you don't mind? We'll just start from the East because we're on the east side of the world, of
The
the
east
of the
side.
on the United States. And so we'll start there. Let's go Eastern Conference. We won't talk about that Hawks Knicks matchup just yet. Let's look into let's go ahead and do the Toronto and Cleveland. They looks like they're matched up against one another. Uh, just whatever you feel about talking about on this one with the Magic. I mean, I'm sorry, with the Raptors and the Cavaliers.
Well, first of all, I want to say it's been another exciting season so far. But the things that made it exciting is that the confusion going on, the injuries, the who's going to be available. As somebody said before, the best ability is availability.
That's
So
right.
we can definitely see that right there, whether it's talking about what players on what teams. But when we talk about Toronto and we look at what Toronto has done, and we got Toronto and Cleveland right here. You got Cleveland, you got James Harden, who's been injured in and out. He came back the other night. And then, Cleveland, a lot of injuries all season long. But if the key players for both squads are on top of the game, for some reason, I just feel that, Toronto can beat Cleveland. Cleveland's just have an inconsistency a whole lot. However, home team, looking for the home team to maybe pull that one out. So that should be interesting to see what happens right there. But I'm gonna go with Cleveland on that. Could be wrong. Could easily be Toronto.
Okay. All right. So you like Cleveland taking this one. Toronto has been a team that's been playing some pretty good ball of late. Man, for them to qualify without having to play through the play-in, that's pretty good for Toronto. And but yeah, Cleveland has been good for a minute here. They've been in the mix in the Eastern Conference not too long ago. What was it, last season maybe or season before that? They was vying for the one of the best records in the NBA along with the Thunder. and so they've stayed kind of consistent. I like your thing about James Harden. James Harden and Mitchell. That's a dynamic backcourt. And anytime you're in a series, when you have two players like that that can be dynamic, that either player can score 40 or more points in a game at any given time, you definitely have a shot. And so I'm with you on that one. Cleveland should be the favorite though to make it to the next round um, and move on from there. So now let's go ahead and jump right into it now.
Let me say this right here. This
Okay.
will be James Harden's opportunity again, right?
Yeah.
To get out of the first round, to move on, and to play. And we know the stigma with James Harden, not being able to come up with the big game that he needs at the right time. A prolific scorer, top 75 greatest ever. But this would be a grand opportunity for him this year to move on to the next round. I mean, he's in the Eastern Conference now, which is supposed to be, of course, weaker. But James Harden can have a bit of redemption right here if he is able to come through and play basketball and just really go over and above. And it's going to be even harder now with him, his age, the timing of this. But again, he's top 75 greatest ever. So we expect those things from James.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely keep a look at that. Um, he has that stigma on him, if you will. But he's had a great career, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be tough once you get that first round, which we'll dive into that a little bit later. The other matchup in the East, and this is the big one. I think this is the one most people are going to keep their eye on, and that's the Atlanta Hawks at the New York Knicks. The Knicks are the 3 seed, Hawks are the 6 seed, and it's a big matchup here between those two teams. I know you have some high interest in the Hawks. My son does well. That's his favorite team. But let's get your take on that, Mr. E. The Knicks Hawks series.
There's a lot of energy right now in Atlanta right now. But then again, there's been a lot of energy for the last 5 years. So we're going to see what the Hawks going to do right there with the rising of Alexander for the Hawks, who, like his teammate. Jalen Johnson could be up for player, the most improved player of the year. Shows a lot of energy in Atlanta right now. I still don't know if Atlanta has enough energy, right? When I see Atlanta play, I see them again up and coming, but that's what we've been seeing for a long, long time now. And I don't know if this team have enough behind it, to beat New York. I mean, we can look at that front line of New York, and they're very physical. I don't know if we can be physical enough underneath the basket. It's a team that kind of play with their strength. If New York can rebound, I think it's Williams underneath the basket for New York. If he plays well right there, playing his defensive game, going to be really tough. Pound for pound, can we match them? On the perimeter. It just depends on what night it is for New York, and can Atlanta Hawks be able to uphold their end of the deal. They're excited. They're a lot of energy. They're young, but I don't know if the physicality will wear them down. But let's just hope and see. We will know soon.
Yeah, that 3-6-4-5 matchup in the modern day NBA, it's a spot now where it can go either way. It's been like that for a couple seasons now. Usually in the NBA, it's that 4 versus 5, but the lines have been kind of blurred a little bit more now with a little bit more parity. I like this game. I like this series. I think it's going to be a fun series. I think it's at least going to go about 6 games. If I I think the difference will be Brunson. I think Brunson will be the difference maker in this series because he is the one guy out of both teams where when the chips are down, when everything's on the line, I think he's the type of player that has proven that he can make the big shots and carry a team through the finish line. It's going to be a tough series, though. I think there's going to be a lot of good games in this matchup. The Hawks play good defense. They have the good versatility on defense. The Knicks, really, the Knicks are underachieving according to a lot of the experts, right? With them finishing third in the East, this was a team that a lot of people were thinking, hey, they should represent the Eastern Conference in the finals, and so the Knicks have that type of potential. So I'm gonna go with the Knicks, but it's gonna be at least a tough 6 game series there. And Brunson is the guy that I think we all need to take a look at. I love your point too about the Hawks. I think that Atlanta, they have it's so funny. Okay, and I'm a huge Trae Young fan, but that's the kind of player you would think you need in this type of series now is a guy like a Trae Young to make big shots in a close matchup. But the team has played well and has been consistent without him as a unit. So it's funny how you need that type of player now in this type of situation, but you didn't need that type of player throughout the season to get your team to this situation. And so that's just the way I see that like that with the Hawks right now. So maybe they can add the type of player that can get you through, but also a type player that can help you through the regular season. Find that happy medium and get that type of free agent to seal the deal for the Hawks to get them to that next tier. But it's going to be a fun series.
Amazing thing about Trae Young, he's a kind of an anomaly, right? Type
Yeah.
guy, because he brought a kind of fierce and toughness to them, but nobody's being afraid of a 5'1" man, so to speak. But just like in Atlanta the other night when Jalen Brunson actually hit two big shots down the stretch in Atlanta I think last Monday night it was. And Atlanta actually had that game won, but being the all-star player that Jalen Brunson was, he turned it on. And the thing about them this season is that they are not totally dependent upon him to score 35 points a game. He'll score
Mm-hmm.
30, he'll score 25, but they're not totally dependent upon him this year to do that. So I think Coach Brown in New York hasn't been given enough credit. It's particularly the way New York started off, but New York brings a competitive spirit right there, a physical spirit, a great, like you said, defensive core to the game. Um, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good. But we're still saying go Hawks, but it's looking like they're going to have to get an edge to New York.
It's gonna be Go Hawks, and then they're gonna be gone. It'll be fun to watch. It's still gonna be good to watch. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. I love the games at Madison Square Garden too, man. Who doesn't love Madison Square Garden MSG? There's gonna be excitement there right off the rip. And Atlanta has a fun home court too. So if nothing else, it's gonna be entertaining game in, game out.
The house will be packed at both places.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about the matchups that we know that's going to happen in the East, but now we have this play-in tournament as well. So we have Miami as the 10 seed. Wow, and they're playing Charlotte, the 9 seed. Now, for those who want to know, hey, how does the play-in tournament work? It's been in place for a couple seasons now, and it was supposed to be one of those ways to help, uh, I guess, work with the tanking situation and try to incentivize making the playoffs and things like that, keep more teams alive throughout the season to kind of keep, more matchups available late in the season. So what happens is the 10th seed plays at the 9th seed. The winner has one more game to play, and the team that loses is done for the year. So it's almost like a college basketball type of one and done scenario. Now, this 8th seed plays the 7th seed. So the 8th seed will play at the 7th seed. The winner of that game is locked into that 7th slot. The loser of that game will fall to 8, but they have to play the winner of the 9 versus 10. The winner of that game would then be the 8th seed, and then we'll move on with the playoffs. So with that said, Mr. E, the Miami Heat at Charlotte, a one-game matchup. And man, these teams came into the league together back in the day. The Charlotte Hornets and Miami Heat. I know they both kind of came in around the same time. What do you think about this matchup here? Charlotte hosting Miami.
Well, you know what? One of the advantages they have is that they're playing in Charlotte, right? And Charlotte has been on a roll with the great Carmelo Ball, right? And, and we bring in the Heat culture, right? I think the first 10 minutes of that game, the first quarter of that game, will kind of set the stage, right? We know that Miami's not going to back down now. I don't care if they're down by 12, 15 points, right, going up there. And I'm not saying that they are, but I'm just saying this is
Right.
what Miami is. Miami is defensive minded. Miami is hardcore. Miami is just here to play. They may not be going anywhere, but you know what? Whoo, Lord, I'm gonna get this one to Charlotte because they're playing in Charlotte. And I just think Ball and his crew and know the
Yeah.
rookie, possible rookie of the year. Um, I think in Miles Bridges, oh my goodness,
There's
So
talent.
we'll see what's going to happen. They took out a young core and guys that are playing together really, really well this year. This is and the second year man out of Alabama,
Oh,
uh,
Miller.
Miller. Oh my
Brandon Miller.
goodness. Yeah, the guys are playing good basketball. They've been hot. I think that car accident that Ball had kind of spurred him on to do well. He got a lot of fuss with things that's going on up in Charlotte with him, but he's having a good season. Leader, his jump shot, one of the ugliest jump shots that you'll ever see. By the way, he has an AAU ninth grade jump shot. But hey, that's what his dad taught him, and it's working for him. And again, he brings a lot of energy to the floor, and he at times can bring on and give you enough minutes to lead his player and make the other players on his team better. So I'm looking for LaMelo Ball and Charlotte Hornets to I'm not going to say steal one because they're supposed to win at home.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we know that with Miami, anything can happen with the Heat. Like they've proven it before. They went to the finals as a real low seed before, and so they're in this position. They normally are in right around in this spot. A couple years ago, they played the Hawks in the play-in round. So this is not something unfamiliar for the Heat to be in. Charlotte, I think there's a new energy in Charlotte, and they've been one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league. You already named some of the key players, so no need for me to repeat that. And I think there's just energy in that arena there in Charlotte, and I think they're going to pull this one out as well. I think Charlotte's they're gonna do it, man. The only way they don't is if Miami suffocates them on defense, and those threes are not falling for Charlotte. But I think they're going to be jacked up as well at home, and they're going to play well and give themselves another crack at it in the play-in tournament. So you want to move on to the next play-in matchup, or you
What
had any remarks?
didn't Charlotte lead the league in three pointers? I heard you mention that. I
Yeah,
think they led the league in three pointers. So we should see some great shooting, and we expect to see some pretty good defense on Miami's end. So we'll
yeah,
see what happens. Yeah.
yeah. We're going to see what happens between those two forces right there when they meet. We're going to see if it's defense or offense, which one's going to take over. The other matchup, man, Philadelphia just in time, man, getting some players back. They need them. Philly was they were like way out of the picture for a while, but getting players back and working their way in. Max, he's probably right now currently, I think he's the best player on that team at this moment. But they still have Paul George that's worked his way back into the thing, and long as Embiid's healthy, but we don't know when he's healthy. So with that said, Orlando Magic at Philadelphia. This is that 7-8 matchup. Who you got on this one?
Philly should be able to win this game right here. Maxi, experienced veteran guard now, he knows what's at stake for him right. It's unfortunate that Embiid, has to undergo surgery and not, be prepared or ready to play. However, this has been his saga for more than 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe all of his career, right?
Yeah,
So, so
even college.
and have you seen Paul George and his proudness lately? Oh my goodness! So they're you're talking about crowds. That Philadelphia crowd can get behind you, and that could be enough to just give you that edge that you need in Philly. And I think Maxie will just go ahead and take them through. Orlando has a tendency of getting behind and staying behind. So I don't see them experience wise. I don't see them having enough gusto in it to go up and steal that. Could be wrong, but I doubt it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Man, so far we're on the same page here with a lot of these matchups. That's funny because somewhere in there's going to be an upset, but hey, we got to give our predictions, right?
Yeah.
Philly, they should hold them off for one game at home. Desmond Bain, I think, is the wild card for Orlando. If he can have an explosive game, which he has a tendency to do that from time to time, that could probably tilt the scale. But other than that, I think Philadelphia should uh, pull off the victory. They have a good rookie too, in VJ
Right, right.
Slint Edgecombe or something
But
like that. You know,
he's
he
been
but
up
he
and down, and you never know what to expect from him. But he's
right.
definitely a player. I like his physicality too. He's
Yeah.
strong. He's young.
Hmm.
He can go to the basket real hard, and don't let him surprise you by the jump shot.
That's right. I mean, he's to me, he's like a mini Maxi. You know what I'm saying? He's like a Maxi 2.0, if you will. And I think with more experience, he'll develop into another Tyrese Maxey type player. But he's shown glimpses of it in the preseason. I remember watching some preseason games with him. And early in the regular season, he was doing that. And as you stated, as a rookie, you're going to have those up and down moments. But if he can help the second unit in any kind of way, that'll keep Orlando at bay. Orlando has some injuries too that they've been kind of battling as a roster, as a team this year. But they're probably still another year away. But there's uh, a lot of positive things that Orlando can take, and even use this playoff and this playing game as another experience test for them as well. I want to give a big shout out to Nard from the Nard Report. Make sure you check him out on all social media platforms. That's the Nard Report. Make sure you check him out. And he's giving us a shout out saying, "What's up? What's up, Nard?"
Hey, Nard.
And Nard's a big Hawks fan, by the way, too. So he probably didn't like our Hawks take, but he understands. He understands.
It's just
All right,
basketball.
that's all. It's just a game. It's just a game. As I've obviously said, just the game, not a game. About the practice,
It's
just practice.
entertainment.
Yeah,
It's just practice. It's just
just practice.
entertainment.
All right. So we have those play-in matchups, our predictions on that. So with that being the case, then that means Philly would remain 7, so they would play Boston in the first round because Boston's the second seed. So that's an old school rivalry for those who really understand the game. Boston and Philadelphia is a rivalry, not just the teams, but the cities as well. Philadelphia and Boston. So who you got there, man? Philly, Boston.
Oh, that's a pretty easy one right there. You could be missing Jalen, or you could be missing the other one that just got his leg just back, or hurt Brown, or whatever. And
Yeah, like Taylor.
they could just, in other words, what I'm saying, whether one of those guys got one leg or one arm, they should just beat, uh, Philadelphia, or any team, because Boston probably take the entire East. So that game, that's one of those games that would be basically done by the end, by halftime, uh, with the Boston Celtics. Defensive wise, the bench at any time could explode. Pritchard can come in and get you 20, 30 points, such as he did to the Lakers and the Hawks and several other teams from west to east this past year. And Jalen Brown, who many people saying that could be possibly, he's a MVP candidate. So they have so many weapons. They have the left-handed guy. Can't think of his name right now. That can score. In fact, I think he started last night. Could have had 30 points, what have you. But from the outside to the inside, all around game, the passing game is superior. The defensive game, the rebounding game. Boston Celtics.
Yeah, and Nard, I think you was back there in the studio. We was gonna get you in here in a minute if you want to join. And that's for anybody. You see the link out there? It's out there on the YouTube page. There's a link if you want to join in live. I mean, you know, the, on ESPN you can't do this, but you can do that on 411 Sports World Network.
You're right.
You can join the people in the studio live.
Okay.
and give your takes. So we do have a link out there on YouTube. If you go to the comment section, and it'll let you know. So Nard, if you are meaning to come back and join us, if that's what you meant to do, just do that and stay right there in the studio, and we'll get you in there.
Come
All
on,
right.
Lord.
The other matchup, E, is what would be the who would be the eighth? I just forgot about that. Was it
Eighth, eighth and
it
the
would
East.
be yeah, it would be Charlotte and it would be Charlotte and Detroit.
Sure, they should.
So yeah, I have Detroit taking that, but what say you?
I think the same thing too. I mean, good gracious, does Stewart supposed to come back anytime this season for Detroit? Because Stewart actually sets a tempo. Uh,
Yeah, he's
I think
physical.
he's ready. Okay, and then we
Well,
know
he's a physical player. They definitely need that in the postseason, especially if they go deeper. But Cunningham is back. He
we
just
got
recently came back.
Kate back from the lung, and that's good. And we have Duran, I think that's his name,
Yeah, in the
uh,
middle.
in the middle. And this team has done well all season. They just been plagued recently by a few things that didn't go too well, injuries, and of course, again, Kate Cunningham. But Detroit should still have the reps on that. What I saw in Detroit all season long, and it's almost, it's like, whoa, they're playing good for 85 and 90% of the game. And then they may collapse for whatever reason it happens. But they overall, you're talking about consistency, strength, defensive wise, that mental toughness. Oh man, that you can see that separates a lot of these guys. The mental toughness. And if there's a barometer on mental toughness and preparedness, this is what you will see with Detroit. And part of this is just the Detroit legacy that many of these players are upholding, right? You're going to be tough to the end if you're a Piston player. And they have a hell of a coach and they have hell of a players in Detroit. And I'm saying a silent killer, Kate Cunningham. The guy just doesn't say too much. He's just go out and handle his business, man. That's what you have to admire about him.
Yeah, absolutely. Big guard and young guard. And look, they've been on that trajectory moving up. And with them being a one seed, I mean, we can't take that lightly. I know Boston is they seem like they're the new in vogue, team to pick because especially with Tatum coming back. So a lot of the experts out there, a lot of the experts out there have Boston going to the final, and I mean that's not a bad pick, by the way. But Detroit is a team I think people really need to pay attention to. I think it's kind of it's looking like an OKC situation. Remember last year when OKC had this tremendous record, and all you can hear from in the talking heads was that you know how the Lakers are going to win the West, and don't pay attention to OKC. They're young, and that's not what's going to happen. Regular season, this and that. And I think Detroit is that type of team, like because Detroit's the one seed, and they have one of the better records in the entire NBA. You know what I'm saying? Outside of OKC, you have to look at Detroit. Look at Detroit and say, hey, big time record. I think the Spurs have six. What the Spurs may have 61 wins, but outside of them in OKC, I mean, this is impressive. And a lot of people don't even know who all play for Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so with all that said, Mr. E, I'm setting you up here. Who do you have as your Eastern Conference favorite?
Boston Celtics. But I like what you're saying because anytime you win 60 games, you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
and as you said, the Pistons, they've been building up with this for this moment right here. And what you got to understand as in basketball and in any sports, right? Momentum is very important, such as being healthy, right? And all the proponents of getting healthy, staying healthy, and peaking at the right time. So when you get again a player in that's rugged like Stewart underneath the basket, and you're not asking him to score, but you're just asking him to play good defense, rebound, and set a mindset tone. And then you have a Cade Cunningham that's going to come at you with everything he's got. One of those silent killers is in the realm of, Stephen Curry, right? The guy
Hmm.
that's not going to really say too much. He's not going to really show that much emotions. But man, when you have Cunningham out there, this guy's been on a mission since day one that we all know about. And we just love to see those kind of teams play. But it's going to be Boston, the
Okay.
Celtics. Okay.
Well, I tell you what, in the last, let's see, in the last fifth, in the Detroit's the third team in the last 15 seasons to lead the league in steals and blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the two teams that did that before that was the 2021 to the 2022 Grizzlies and the 2016/2017 Warriors. Detroit's the third team in the past 15 years, excuse me, to do that. So the lead in steals and blocks. And steals and blocks are excellent defensive categories to be good in. So I think that's pretty much what keeps Detroit in this thing. They play good defense and they're athletic. We'll see if that's enough for them to top Boston. Boston is deep. So for you to say Boston, I'm not. That's not a surprise at all. And the Celtics have allowed 40.1 points per game in the paint. That's the least amount since 2019-2020, which were the Bucks at 38.7%, and the Bucks had Giannis in the middle. So yeah, Boston is playing good defense as well. So man, I hope those two teams meet, and you have Boston as the favorite there, and I'm going to lean with Boston as well. Uh, Begrudgingly. But I think that Boston, they do have the depth, and they have all these players like Pritchard and you know what I'm saying, and Missoula is an excellent coach. They have good continuity in Boston, and Tatum and Brown. They've been at this thing for a long time. It's hard to believe how long they have been
Amazing, isn't it?
in the mix. They've been in the mix since being young puppies, and now they're in their
Remember
prime.
when people were saying that they couldn't play together and one of
Yeah,
them had to be traded, and just the composure and then just the instincts, the way those guys have grown together, have worn together, and went through so much turmoil together and became two of the highest paid players basically
right.
around the same time. But yeah, the controversy, and they're always working on their games, to get better, and Brown comes back home, and he's really involved in the community and the betterment of all people. And the way that guy works on his game, take care of his body, has just been so impressive. And then he had a stint of 30 plus games while his teammate Tatum was out. Just amazing and dedicated. And again, like you said, well, these guys been around a long time, and they know
Yeah, they have.
how to win. And so you gotta tip your hat to what they've been able to do in Boston.
And just to give people an understanding how long these guys been together, and remember they played in the Eastern Conference like finals against Cleveland. LeBron was playing for Cleveland. LeBron's been in LeBron's been in LA what almost 10 seasons now, like eight to 9 seasons already. Like that's how long these two have been together. And so Boston has the experience, and they also played in the finals against the Warriors and came up a little
Yeah.
short, but they also won a championship over against Dallas not too long ago. So there you have it there.
hmm hmm Go Celtics. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's move to the West. We'll use the same format. Let's talk about the matchups in the middle ground first. Let's go to the 4-5 matchup. The Lakers, okay, the Lakers and the Houston Rockets. I know you want to talk about this one. It's consistent of two legends, two future Hall of Famers,
Oh boy.
Kevin Durant, LeBron James, both needing to lead their respective teams out of the first round. So let's start there with Houston. Well, LA hosting Houston.
Well, we still got to mention Doncic, even though he's got a bad hamstring right now. So, future Hall of Famers, right? Let me start off by saying this right here. Okay. From the time Doncic got into LA, all I heard was he's the future. He's good for the next 10 years. I'm sure you can go back and pull up 52,000 plus replays of that, right? He's,
Absolutely.
he's not going to even, okay, let's say if he's there 10 years. Do you understand that the guy started playing professional basketball when he was 15, I think it is? And by the time he got to the Lakers, he was, what, 24, 25, which is what, this is his second season, right? We know, okay, so let's just say he's in shape now. He's not that kind of player that's going to have a 20 plus year career on a high level. Even though he led the NBA in scoring this year, 32 points per game, right? But he doesn't have that type of staying power. His body cannot hold up that long. So, with that being said, right, I'm just going to make this one to the point. They're not going to be able to hold up. And they have other key players that's out, right? I mean, we're
Austin
talking
Reeves is
about
out.
Austin Reed is out. We see the confunction that's going on right now with the coach. I've never agreed with J.J. Redick being the coach for them. He could sustain with them. Uh, I just didn't think. I don't think it's his time. I think it's LeBron. It's a shame. I'll say this. It's a shame that LeBron, an old man, right, actually is called on to carry this team. But we expected, this to happen to Doncic right there. Great scorer, great player, but of course we know on the defensive end, there's a liability right there. And with the injury of Austin Reed, I just don't see any kind of way that they could win. Um, and so this is it'll be interesting to see what can happen. But we're going with Houston right here. I mean, we're going with Houston because of Doncic.
Well, I'm a Laker fan, and I'm going with Houston on this. Houston, and I would have went with Houston even if they had Luca and Reeves. I just think between LeBron James, um, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves, the three of them would be exploited on the defensive end. And when your three best scorers are also kind of your three liabilities on defense, um, in the playoffs, you know what I'm saying, when the games get a little slower than the regular season,
And
a little
boards.
more
Yeah, it's gonna
compact, and teams can yeah, they can game plan for that particular series now and don't have to worry about what's going on the next day and the next day. I just don't see it happening. And now with the injuries, now you losing two more scorers, viable scorers, and there's no other viable scorers. You know what I'm saying? Where you can look at, okay, who can, and I know LeBron James can accumulate 23 points, but but we talking about guys who could just put it in the bucket and when they have to, like from shooting jumpers or shooting, threes and things like that. It just LeBron doesn't score that way. He scores more like on a consistent basis, gets it at the end by the end of the game. He's more of a facilitator, but who are you going to facilitate to at this point? So I just really see Houston really like chomping at the bit now to get to extract a little revenge too. And I think Udoka, he's not very fond of LeBron, and I think there's a little bit of something there too. I think Houston's going to try to take us out on this one. And but guess what? If they do, they're probably supposed to do it at this point. And so I think that's what's going to happen too. I got Houston winning this series and moving on to the next round.
Let me say something before we go.
Yeah.
Maybe Bronny's had a good game right here or two right here. And they got the combination going on, father to son passing and scoring
Yeah.
at least one time per game. So hey, attitude, milieu, and belief, you know, maybe
Playoff Bronny. Okay. Activate playoff Bronny. All right. Well, hey, we'll see. He's definitely gonna have the opportunity to play. And he should get some stats. So they'll definitely LeBron and Bronny will definitely add to the father son combination of scoring. They'll probably lead the history of the NBA in father son total points in the postseason. So there's something to look forward to. Um, if you're in the LeBron camp. Um,
Go Bronny.
Bronny, all right. Now he did look good against Utah, but Utah is basically a G League team at this point of the season. And Bronny has really been lighting it up in the G League though. So
Yeah,
he definitely he definitely better than what we thought he was.
yeah,
We give him that.
yeah.
All right. Hey, what about this 3-6 matchup? The Denver Nuggets and the um, Minnesota Timberwolves. How do you feel about that matchup, E?
Oh man, that's good. But I think the Joker and Murray will be able to handle Minnesota, right? By the way, is that All Star baby Michael Jordan guy from Minnesota playing, or is he injured? Is
He's
he?
playing.
He's playing. Oh, that should be really good. You're talking about NBA entertainment. That's going to be
Yes.
the best right here. But Mr. Triple Joker, triple double Joker, man, and Murray coming on strong in his cast of other players on that team. It looks like we're going to have to go with Denver on that. Yeah, Minnesota just hadn't been able to get over that hump
Yeah.
enough, right? And of course, they're a good defensive team when they want to play, but you never know what to expect from them. So, kudos to Joker. And some people say he should be the MVP
Mm,
again. So
interesting.
that's very tight right there, but it won't be tight when they come up against Minnesota. I'm picking, um, I'm picking the Denver squad to take that.
Well, I just might as well just let you just make all the picks because I'm on the Denver train too. Denver is I think they even they close out the season basically making sure they end up in that three slot. And Joker is just on it, man. He's arguably the best player in the NBA. You definitely can, if someone believes he's the best player in the NBA, I would not be the one to disagree with that. He is a walking triple double. Matter of fact, he's averaging that, and it's not like he's forcing it either when he gets those numbers. It's within the system, and he is the engine. You know what I'm saying? They've replaced a lot of players here and there. Players have come and gone. Players have been injured and come back, and he's doing it with barely even having all-star teammates. You know what I'm saying? Like you probably can count on one finger how many times he had an all-star teammate, and so he's getting it done. So I have Denver moving on as well in that series. Let's jump into the playing matchups. Ooh, well, this look kind of brutal back on this back end, but let's look at the Phoenix Portland matchup. Who you have there, Phoenix or Portland?
Ooh, Lord, Phoenix Portland, and that's kind of hard too. You don't know what that Booker guy gonna do. Sometimes he's out there, and
Yeah,
he actually gets a quiet 25. So
yeah.
you'll be wondering what is he gonna do? Will Phoenix be able to beat Portland? For some reason, I'm gonna go with Phoenix on that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with everything that has happened probably this year with Portland, right? Their coach, um, the players, and you know they're still is trying to get over the Dame
Yeah.
Lillard thing. And I just don't think that they been able to step up enough right now. I'm gonna go with that Booker guy, as I call that Booker boy. He finds a way to get you, and you're always thinking, what is he gonna do? Oh, he'll just get 25. Oh, he'll just get 27. Oh, he'll just have 7 rebounds. Oh, he'll just have 5 or 6 key assists. It's almost like when he hurts you at the spot. You know he's going to get the points, but then he'll come up with the defensive stop too and make the good pass and still get you on his best nights. So that'd be interesting to see. But I'm leaning toward Phoenix on that one.
Yeah. Man. And Portland's 2 games over 500, and I think a lot of people need to understand they're 42 and 40. That's not a bad record. But this, for some reason, Portland feels like they should be a lottery team. They should be like in position for the number one pick, as you stated. All the stuff that's going on, you got your coach, you know, dealing with some issues.
You got a Hall of
Dame
Fame
Lillard,
coach.
they
Yeah.
brought Damian Lillard back just to hang out for a year. You know what I'm saying? Like you would think this team is, if you didn't know any better, you would say, oh, they're like 19-61, but they're actually, for 2 games over 500, which is crazy. But so is Portland though. I mean, so is Phoenix, but that Phoenix is actually 8 games over 500. So I'm gonna go with Phoenix on that. They have, I think they're gonna have more experienced players in this situation for one game. And hey, man, we keeping the streak alive here. E, we have the same picks. Maybe
Oh,
this next matchup would be different. Just
oh, you,
maybe.
you have a secret FanDuel bet going on, man. So you know that.
We need one because look, we must be on it, man.
Right.
Sorry NBA, but I hope maybe you'll give us something that's going to be different. But right now, this is what we're seeing. But here's one that's really interesting, and it's really interesting for a lot of reasons. Who would have ever thought, like, in this era, the Clippers and the Warriors would be the 9 versus 10 matchup. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors and the Clippers. And we have names like Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Kawhi Leonard. You have Ty Lue as a head coach, Steve Kerr head coach. Like, who would have thought that, the Porzingis and guys like that, who would have thought that this would be the 10 and 9 matchup?
Uh, to be honest with you, I would. Those guys,
Okay.
those guys are so old, man. And, I mean, Curry, when he recovers from this, he's going to have a couple of more injuries over the next 24 months. And I say 24 months because that sounds a little bit softer than 2 years, right? And we know Draymond Green's on his last, right and left leg, right? And Curry is almost, Kerr is almost just burnt out, right, with the whole situation. So, yeah, we've seen this ship sail, you know, it looked good. Now it's just getting old. And,
Mm,
it's kind of like LeBron. Uh, it's getting that time.
it's
And then
time.
we got these young guys who have the best equipment. They have chefs, right? They have more money to spend on staying in shape. And they can't even play 65 games, So, know.
Hey, we're gonna talk about that in a minute too. I'm glad you brought that up.
So yeah. Oh, and don't forget Kawhi, who I
Yeah,
think sort of plays when he gets ready to play, and then
yeah,
Ty Lue, all those names you mentioned. Now you got one thing about those guys, right? They're old, right? But they're still there because I want you to listen to me, young people, right here. These young guys cannot play. They don't have the mentality, the toughness, the longevity, the strength, the know-how to compete. And you know what? I guess I wouldn't either if I'm making 52 million a year, a million. Yeah, the guys you mentioned, they're all making around $50 million a year, and not Draymond Green, but the longevity. They've been around, and they play hard, but they just don't have it anymore. The body cannot hold up. Now, these younger guys, they don't care about holding up. They
yeah.
don't care. So if you can make $50 million a year, $60 million a year, it's a very few of them that really care about it that way. So don't get mad with me because I said it. I'm just telling you the truth because I've seen it and I've watched it over the years, and you're watching it right now. Yeah.
That's it. And probably what we won't be watching is the other matchups in the first round. So whoever survives that will play. Whoever ends up being the eighth seed will play OKC. Whoever will end up the seventh seed will play the Spurs. I already have the Spurs and OKC advancing in those scenarios. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay. All right. So we'll clean that on up. The other thing we need to talk about in the West would be the next round, which let's say Denver's advancing as we stated as a 3. That means they will play the Spurs as a 2. So that's a very intriguing matchup. Who would you have advancing there?
And say that again now. Who is that in that matchup?
Spurs and Nuggets.
The Spurs and Nuggets. Victor Wembanyama, and that would be probably the key right there if he's able to play. I'm going to go with the Spurs on that. I know that they're young, as Victor
Hmm.
says, but I think they know how to win enough. And you can't discount the who I think is probably what the NBA Coach of the Year, Mitch Johnson. You
Oh
know,
yeah, he's
look
done a great
who
job.
he's been tutored under, right? And look
Mhm.
what they put together right here. You talk about player development. You talk about that organization that's been down a few years and they're on the way up. And still we cannot discount some injuries with along with the guy like Murray or either the Joker that could miss a game here or there right now. And then we think about the bench that both of these teams have, right, coming up. But every team is one injured player away, and a lot of these teams already have an injured player that's going to the playoffs right here. And what we see in this 80th year celebration of the NBA is still evolving. Is evolving so fast that the players can't really keep up with what's going on in their minds or in their bodies. It appears at times.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that's man. That is a super intriguing matchup in the second round, and man, I wouldn't want to see neither team go home at that point, but somebody has to, and that's going to be one of those, man. I'm still kind of torn in that series. But if there's going to be an upset somewhere, that's where it's going to be with Denver over the Spurs, and maybe experience can prevail in that one. But just as a true prediction and being fair about it, I do think there's something to the Spurs with winning 61 games. I think there's something there with them, and I think they're kind of on a collision course with OKC in the West Finals. We're talking about two of the best teams all season the uh, in the league, not just the West. And look to the Spurs. I will say this: I keep saying 61, but it's actually 62 wins, which makes it even more impressive. So they're 62-20. I mean, that's Chicago Bulls dynasty type record, 62-20. So we're talking about two teams that they're pretty much on a collision course. So we'll let's go ahead and do that too in the Western Conference Finals. Spurs, OKC, who you got? E?
I got OKC. I just got to go with the team that's been number one seed. This will be the third uh, year in a row coming into this thing right here. They have the fabulous Shea, who what's called Shea Dr. J or Shea Michael Jordan or somewhere Shea George Gervin, whatever it is. But he's been there. They've done it. They're like the silent killers, right? Quiet team that come at you with compassion. They can beat you from every angle, defensively, rebounding, smart IQ, basically everybody that play, and they play the game until the end. What you'll see a lot of teams do is they have a lot of spurts, which all of them do. But if you ever watch Oklahoma play, for your people, the younger people that look at the game, if you look at most of the players on their team, particularly at starting five on, those guys play the game on every possession. The
Yep.
follow through, defensive end, rotation, rebounding, making the right pass at the right time. There's not really too many flaws in their game. So Oklahoma is looking pretty good right now.
Look, man, we must have the same sheet here. OKC. I have them winning this series. And by the way, when we get to our finals prediction, you might hear that name, that team name again. But what I will say that's different, that different from what you said, I'm going to add this factor too. I want everyone to tune in for this Western Conference Finals. This is your this is your NBA, right? You're looking at your future teams right there, and you're probably looking at
Great point.
a matchup that you're going to see a lot of over the next several seasons. And this will be that. I think this will be the coming out party for the NBA to say, "Hey, look at our new wave right here." Starting with these two teams, starting with Shea and Victor as star franchise players, and not just the franchise players, but faces of the league type players, and that's what you're going to see in that series. But I do think OKC with their depth, and also even though OKC lost to the Spurs early in the season, I think twice they played like three times, like kind of early in the year, and lost twice to them. OKC still figured out a way to finish 2 games ahead of Spurs this season, which lets you know that this Thunder team is the real deal. Um, I think the experience of them winning a championship is going to also be the edge there too. But keep these two teams in mind. Small market NBA brand teams drafted their players,
Mhm.
built their team up, went and got effective free agents. Not just went and got splashy names. They went and got effective players like Hartenstein and the Spurs traded for Fox and these teams they made the right type of moves so that you could have a team. You know what I'm saying? Where if you do have an injury, if you do have this or that, your team can continue on and play within their system and not be reliant on a player. You know what I'm saying? So this is the way if you're a franchise in the NBA, take the model of the Thunder, take the model of what the Spurs are doing and have done, and you can win and you can build a team. If they can do it, your team can do it.
Very well
Yes,
said.
sir. All right. So now we'll go ahead and get before we get into the MVP talk and the 65 game rule. Let's wrap up this
Oh,
tournament here and give our NBA final and our winner. And I'll let you go first. East and West
okay.
champions and the winner overall.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with OKC coming out of the West, and then we're gonna match up with the Boston Celtics, and it's just gonna be a hell of a ride right there. I'm gonna say that we'll go uh, full 7 games with Boston and OKC, and it's gonna be OKC again.
Get an argument here. There it is. OKC Boston.
Mhm.
OKC's the champs. I think OKC's gonna win the whole thing. The only debate I have left is if it's Detroit or Boston. Um, and of course, if Detroit wins, that's mild upset, if you will. But either way, OKC's winning this thing again. They're too deep. They have a closer. The team just plays well together. You have Williams. That even though he's not like super, but he's also excellent, and he does his role, and he's going to play. He's going to deliver when he need to, and so like they just have it, and they have versatility with Chet Holmgren with his size and able to play perimeter and rebound and do those type of things. They just have everything that's needed to be a championship team. So OKC as well, winning this whole thing.
Go OKC. It'll be nice to see,
Yeah,
because OKC, I think when they won their first championship, we were saying, yeah, it's kind of boring, but yeah, they're going to be there. And then we watched the ratings, but we kind of adapted to them, small market, as you say. But the entertainment is there, such as what's in San Antonio, beating the drum. When
right.
they win, they got the young players, Castle and Vassell, and then, the legendary Boston Celtics, as we mentioned, their 2-star players in that bench. It should make for another good postseason.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think one of the big things that we got to look to in this, Ray, there will be more than likely, all your people out there listening to us tonight, there's going to be an injury or somebody that's going to have to sit out, a key player in the championship series. So what I'm looking for is somebody from OKC and someone from Boston, and that could be very pivotal in what we see as the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, anything can happen, right? And so we'll
Anything.
definitely see where it goes from there. Here's the first round matchups and everything. So you could take a look at that. Game one, get ready for it coming up real soon. NBA, the playoffs, the intensity will be there. There's no doubt about it. intensity will be there. The matchups, it's gonna be fun. So be ready for it, fans. Be ready for it. Let's get
It's
so let's
be
talk about the 65 game situation. E. How do you feel about that 65 game rule? Of course, what that means, people, is that the NBA has a rule in place fairly recent, couple seasons here, where in order to qualify for MVP or any individual type of awards during the season, for the regular season, you need to participate in at least 65 games. And within that, there are a couple games, there's a certain number of games that you are allowed to play at least 20 minutes in. So it's not like you have to play 65 full games. You just have to make sure you do qualify for a 65 number. Um, and with that said, man, how do you feel about that rule? Because there are some players, i.e., Luka Doncic, who is not going to qualify for that now because of the bad timing of that injury. And there's a couple other names as well. But how do you feel about that 65 game?
Well, I heard you mention Luka Doncic right there, and I think I heard that his people are going to file a grievance with the NBA. And of course, I think that's a good legal move. I think it could possibly be justified. So, again, when change is inevitable, but then rules are made for rules, right? And I do like the 20 minutes of playing, but I think it goes back to, again, we have soft tissue injuries and we have soft tissue players, right? So I think these guys need to butter up and get ready and prepare to stay healthy and to do healthy. You can pay an exorbitant amount of money, right? You have what should be the best trainers available or your best personal doctors, right? I think the trainers and the person, the player himself, should be in better condition. I think an NBA player should be able to play 65 games. And again, a rule is a rule, but then by the same token, when you have somebody like Doncic in this situation that he's in, I think that that player should be able to make a way. It's unfortunate what happened to Gabe Cunningham. Uh, it's unfortunate what happened to several of the players, whether that was LeBron, Doncic, Embiid, or whoever. That just, a lot of these players have history of
Mm-hmm.
missing games, right? Or a workload or whatever, or sitting out, right? And if the fans are paying this amount of money, right? Uh, a good seat in most NBA arenas, a good seat, 13 rows back in most uh, arenas from center court, at least $500 a seat. And then by the time you eat and park and whatever, it's a easy just for one person $600 a night. So I expect 100% uh, attitude of a player all year round, right? Take care of your body, take care of your mind, and give 100%. But again, these players, and I'm not knocking what they do off court because the average life of an NBA player, but behind all the glitz that we see, 21 years, LeBron, or 22 years, whatever we say, or 15 years, the average life is only that 5 to 7 years max, and that's pushing it. But I don't think they have a heart, but I think to play or to put in the time to do and be everything that they need to be because of so many distractions and other things that they are involved with. So yes, modification, whether uh, and then we got a backdrop of this right here. And I don't want to get too involved in this, but it's like the NIL. Love it, need it, should have it. However, there need to be some modifications to it.
Okay. Well, I like the rule. I have no problem with it. I think that, of course, because of the premise of the rule is to really they put it in place to kind of like deter the low management, where players are sitting games for load management reasons. And if they're giving you 17 games, to be able to load manage. And I think, as you stated, like the price of these tickets, the price of the NBA League Pass that you order, the price of making sure you have cable, because now um you gotta have Amazon Prime, you have to have your local cable provider, you have to have NBA League Pass, you have to have Peacock, all these different ways that you have to pay to watch the games, let alone go to a game, you know what I'm saying, and spend $800 if you're taking your family, or if you're taking yourself $200, $300, so on and so forth. If the everyday people have to do that, then NBA, well trained, well conditioned athletes, they should be able to make 65 games. Plus, they give you a window of certain number of games that you could just play 20 minutes in. So you should be able to get that number. Now, if for some reason you have a major injury and you missing over that number of games, then maybe next year is your year. You know what I'm saying? So let the people that are able to survive this and be great is starting to narrow down the number of the players that will be up for those awards, for those MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year and All Defensive Team, and all those individual awards. So I'm actually okay with the rule. I know some people are going to bellyache if something happens to a player, but guess what? Think about the games that Luka sat out earlier in the year when he could have been playing. Now you're really injured and you have to miss games. Well, you kind of use that up earlier in the season. And so that's the give or take to me. I think 17 is enough uh, of a window. If you want to modify it, maybe make it 20 games in the window. And I think that could be a fair adjustment as well. But that's what happens. When you make rules and you come up with things, then there's also stuff that comes off of that as a ripple effect, and then you try to adjust. So, but for me, I'm good with the rule. I'm good with 65.
And wasn't that rule of 65 certified by the Players Association?
Absolutely, they agreed to it too. Yeah, they agreed to that. I mean, this stuff, you can't do any of this stuff without having it approved, right? The collectively bargained. So that means the owners, the league, the player association, they all agreed to all this stuff. So you're absolutely right, E. If you agree to it, and now don't bellyache about it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to suck it up, and next season, make sure you play.
Do
Don't
better.
don't low manage. You know what I'm saying? And then when you're really injured, you got a window to survive that. If
Eat
you have a
some,
serious,
eat some
yeah, if
real
you have,
food. Get some basic collard greens and cut out all that fat back meat.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
that's
while
it.
you're traveling to Cabo, St. Lucas, watch what you eat. And
Yeah,
just when you
go,
go here and there and keep your
yeah,
shelf, get your shelf together. Get
that's
your
right.
personal trainer, right?
Yeah, and if everybody was doing what they're supposed to do and not low managed anyway, then this probably wouldn't ever came up in the first place. This kind of rule. So, it is what it is. Now at this point, we just gotta move on. You gotta suck it up and make it through.
Make it, make it.
Reward the ones that make it. Reward the ones that can make it through that season. MVP talk, man. Based on that 65 rule has its effect on the MVP race. So who are you looking for as far as the MVP for this season?
Can you tell me who's all in the race
I,
that played enough games, that won enough games, that shot the right percentage, that scored enough points, that helped this team win the most?
you know what? I'm gonna
Shay
call. There you go.
Alexander.
There you go. That's one.
Yeah, yeah. Shay Alexander. I mean,
Yeah,
guy's scoring 30 a game. He guys shooting 50% from the field. He passed the ball. He has legitimate enough defense. He makes his other players better. His team's winning games, right? I mean, come on. He's been there before and he's doing it now. So I'm going to go with him hands down. Nobody else. Okay. I'm sorry, Nicola. Okay. But, you know, I'm
man.
Shay.
He made Jokic has made a strong case, averaging a triple double. We've kind of seen that in the past. Back in the day, I think it was in 1962, where Oscar Robertson averaged a triple double, did not win MVP. And Wilt Chamberlain averaged 1,000,000 points and didn't get the MVP, but I think Bill Russell got it that year. And you know why Russell got it? Because he won. And He won a lot. His team won a lot of games, and that's the same thing's going on here with Shea. Not only is he putting up the numbers, but when it comes down to breaking that tie, the record that they have, you can't go nowhere else with it, man. I mean, he checks all the boxes. He's got to be the one that wins it. If he doesn't win it, I'll be shocked.
And it's a great thing. I don't think Nicola really cares because again, he could go and win it again. But
Yeah,
Shea, Shea is right there. It's his time again. But how many years went by that Michael Jordan could have won it again, or Carl Malone was right there, and could have won it. So this has happened before. It's not anything new. It's exciting. It's good. It's fun, and it's the era of basketball in which we live in.
absolutely. All right, man. We covered it all tonight. We're playoff ready, playoff mode activated here. E.
Hey, well, tell me, what did you think about that rookie of the year? Hey, from my understanding,
Ooh,
just today,
ooh.
who got hurt last night? The youngster in Dallas, right?
Yeah, I think he's rookie of the year.
You think
I
he's
don't.
rookie of the year?
Yeah, I think it's like the Shea one. We know Shea's gonna win MVP, and I think Cooper Flagg's gonna win rookie of the year. He's
Cooper.
been pretty. He's been very impressive, man. He's been. I mean, I think he's exceeded what people may have thought. I mean, I know people could say, "Oh, he was gonna be good," but this good, this early, man, he's really impressive, man. If he survives, plays relatively injury free for his career,
Mhm.
and I don't see why he can't eclipse what LeBron James has done so far. Because they're similar type mode of player, similar type, you know, forward slash guard skill player. If he's utilized correct, like in that manner, he'll be able to play a long time, especially if he doesn't have to play like in the front court a lot. If he plays more like LeBron had played throughout his career, mostly on the perimeter and not really banging with people, he can last a long time, especially in this type of league. And it's going to get softer as the years go by. He should be around for a long time to pile up a lot of numbers. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a career similar to LeBron's.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's also interesting too. I think there was a lot of flack with him playing the guard spot, right?
Yeah,
But I also think that what better mentor can he have besides Jason Kidd? I mean, he's got
right.
an excellent coach behind him, a guy that's been there, a Hall of Famer. And then after all, he was put there to actually to lead this team, particularly after Doncic had left. But yeah, all kudos to Cooper Flag and what he's doing, and much success to him and to Jason Kidd. Can you imagine what that guy has been through over the last year with
Yeah.
everything that's been going on? And he's handled it like the true professional that Jason Kidd's turned out to be. Whether he's coaching, whether he's a player, he seems to be able to transcend just the way Glenn Rivers, who was fired today, has been able to change his game. The consummate, the professional.
And you made two good points, man. Excellent points that I want to highlight that so everybody understand why Mr. E's on this show. He mentioned Jason Kidd. That's an all-time great point guard, a great mind of the game, and has a mind of the game. And for him to be able to lead Cooper Flag, who's a versatile guard forward type player, he's going to instill all that guard mentality, that the mental aspect of being the playmaker. He's going to get all that along with the scoring ability that he already has. Cooper Flag can already shoot from the outside, he can drive. And you mentioned something else, E. Luka Doncic is not there. So Cooper can just pile up numbers year in and year out for the next 20 years if he's around that long. He doesn't have anybody else that's going to take away from those numbers. It's setting him up. He's in a great setup. And these first four couple 3 to 4 seasons, there's no pressure of winning. All he has to do is just play. So he's going to be building up his resume early, and then later on in the career, he has to win a couple championships. But he's got more years in front of him.
Yes, he does, and we
Yeah,
look forward to seeing that. We look forward
yeah,
to seeing.
absolutely.
Go
Hey,
Coop.
big shout out to the referees too. Uh, E and myself are basketball officials, and we've done it for a while here. Well, big shout out to the referees in the playoffs. So, fans, don't forget, can't have the games without the officials.
You gotta love them. Hey, big shout out to you. I don't know if anybody's mentioned this right here, but Tyrone Jones, a referee in a championship basketball game this season right here. Kudos to you, man, and everything that you are doing and continue to do and have been doing for a very, very long time. I tip my hat off to you, man.
Well, thank you, E. I appreciate
Congratulations.
it. Thank you, sir. I
Congratulations. Such a
appreciate that
story.
a lot. Very humbling moment right now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, E, I thank you for being on
Thank
again, once again, having a great NBA dialogue. You remember those days when we were rolling to the next season for our basketball season, the referee and everything, and we'll sit right next to each other right around that October, late September, early October time frame, mid October, and we'll be like, man, it's almost time for another NBA season. We used to always say that, didn't we?
Yes, it
And
is,
we
man.
and we'll get we'll start talking about the teams and the leagues and everything. Look at what we're doing years later. We're still doing that. We're talking about it. And
Amazing.
so
You can't get it out of your system, man. Once you start, it's a wonderful thing. And like I always say, it's this is what America's about too. We like entertainment and we like good, safe fun, and we like to have, as we call it, being passionate about what we like. It keeps us in a calm space. It keeps us in a happy space. It gives us something we can talk about 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, right? And entertain ourselves while we enjoy the players, man, the energy that it gives. So, yeah, yeah. Thank you, man, for providing this platform right here of fun, excitement, positive energy, and some place to go, man.
thank you very much. I appreciate you, man. And we thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share because sharing is caring. Big shout out to E. I am Mr. 411. We thank you all. And by the way, we're also on Spotify. So
Oh, go ahead on Spotify.
check us out there too.
Look out, man. Look out.
All right. We out of here. Have a good one, everybody.
Peace now.